Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of CookieCast. Today on CookieCast, it's the Darkest Timeline podcast. So there's me talking about stuff that's been going on in the week when this was recorded. I can reliably inform you that there's going to be me ranting about stuff that shouldn't be happening in July. I think you all know what that is. Games, movies and TV. Light on some, heavy on others, so bit of a mixture there. And anything else that's been going on. Before I get started, please do consider like, share, subscribe and comment. Drop us any reviews. And just generally share the podcast around. Get this lovely podcast out there in the world. Right, let's get going. So here we go. This is CookieCast, the Darkest Timeline podcast. Alright, how are you doing? You well? I just realised that microphone is very low. Very low. Like my voice. Because there's lots of sleeping people. Because it's 10:15 at night. Let me move into a better position. Oh. Driving in the car the other day. And I got 6 months free from one of the music streaming services. I was about to say I never pay for them. That's not true. I never pay full whack for music streaming because the majority of the music that I listen to on music streaming services, I already own it on those relics known as CDs. So I don't want to pay for music I own. It seems like bad business. But if you're going to give me something for free or cheap, then, why not? So, got 6 months free. Downloaded a load of music. Fancied listening to a classic. Put it on in the car. And set off to drive home. And so far home, I realised that the album in question was edited. It was an edited version of the album, and there was nothing I could do about it. So I'm driving, having to listen to edited music, which should it be illegal? Should it? Some might say it should, and I might be one of those people. Every time something came up that was edited, I could hear my soul vomiting. Got a little clinky drink. I'm drinking a non-alcoholic whiskey. And if you're wondering, that's where my life is. I'm drinking a non-alcoholic whiskey. And I'm not going to lie, it's delicious. So, got home, immediately turned the music off, was so disgusted with its very existence. Went back onto the stream service, I was like, oh man, I've just obviously selected the wrong one. There's always two versions, and every now and then you get caught out. Went on to the streaming service in question, and that was not the case. I'd selected the only version they had of that album, and again all I could hear was the sound of my soul vomiting. Then I realised that as it was a band that had been going for many years, it wasn't the only one that was the edited version. So basically any album from the early career of this band was an edited version. Oh, I wanted to cry. It was just awful. Yes, computer, I fully agree. Speaking of things that are awful, in the space of 2 days, I saw not 1, but 4 adverts for Christmas. And in case you're wondering, today is the 25th. No, not December. No. 25th of July. What the actual fuck is going on? Why? These were like paper, like posters. One was like, oh, students, book your Christmas party here. Because that's what we need to be thinking on what at that point in time, obviously this was last week featured the hottest day on record. 40 something degrees. It was that hot when I stood in the base, at the bottom of the Grand Canyon. So yeah, that's the thing that we want. You know, maybe like, oh, I know what are cool people down. I'm thinking about Christmas in July. That student thing, that was the thing I saw on one day, and then the next day, 3 Christmas adverts. What the fuck? It's so completely unnecessary. So completely unnecessary. Just no. Stop it. Stop it. We don't need this. Anyway. I had a crazy idea. So crazy, in fact, that I actually looked into it. And so crazy, in fact, that I actually looked a little bit too far into it and then was like, I'll tell you what it was. So, I was like, right. Bert Kreischer has announced that he's going to record his next stand-up special for Netflix. He's released the tickets, said the days, the dates, all of that. And there was this part of me that was like, interesting. And it sort of mulled in my brain and was like, you could go. You could do it. You could go. Something that in hindsight I look back and I'm like, why? And somebody it was pointing out to me that maybe it was a situation that I didn't know at the time, but something that annoys me is that I missed out on the opportunity to see Bill Burr when he did not the special that's just come out, but the one before, because he did it in England, and it was done in London. I saw him on that tour, but I didn't see him in London. And it's a bit of one of those, I'm a bit like, man, that's annoying. So now, plenty of advance notice, plenty of advance warning, plenty of, get your tickets. For me, it's a plane ticket, and a ticket, and a hotel. I've definitely not looked into all of these things. No, I did. I did. I looked into it all. And I looked at it as I could pay it. I could cover it. I could pay it. And yes, it's a lot of money. Yes, it's an extreme thing to do. But, and as I said to somebody the other day, think of the story. Think of the element of being immortalized. I was saying, like, think if you ever put that stand-up special on in the future, you'll always be able to say, I was there. I did it. And then somebody's going to be like, but hang on a minute, wasn't this, wasn't it recorded in America? Yes, it was recorded in America, and I was there. But how did that come about? Well, I got on a plane, I flew to America, I went to the show, I stayed overnight, and I flew home. But I think this ties into something else. I've been feeling restless. It's kind of a bit of a weird one. My evenings have got a bit weird. So I think I mentioned recently that I'd been building some. I was going to say I've been building a lot, but it's not true. I've been building some Lego. Made me feel like I needed a bit of a hobby. Made me feel like I needed some sort of like construction hobby type deal. That sort of stuff. It's been making me feel like that. And it really hit me at the point in time where the first evening that I didn't have any Lego to build, I was like, well, now what do I do? So the first evening I'm like, and it's like, I'll watch a film. That'll fill that time. Could I find a film to watch? No, I couldn't. It's like, okay, I'll put a game on. Easy done. Put a game on. Watch a game. Jesus. Play a game. No, couldn't find the motivation to do that either. Just feeling. Oh, excuse me. Just feeling a bit like some kind of caged tiger. And I'm not entirely sure why. And I don't know if this sort of like, I'm going to travel halfway around the world to go and watch a comedian perform, when I could just wait 6 months after that and watch this, the special on Netflix. I don't know if there's a connection between the two. I feel a bit, I don't know what you call it, antsy. Yeah, I don't know. I can't really explain. I can't explain it. Something that I've talked about, I think it was a little while ago. I've written down here, the Kindle saga continues. I've mentioned this before. I got a children's Kindle for my daughters. They love watching stuff or playing games or whatever. Got to the point though that one of my children, who shall remain nameless, was kind of taking over. Like the pair of them were just doing what one of them wanted to do. So another Christmas comes round, it's like, hey, you've got your own Kindle now, you can do whatever you want. And one of them likes to watch stuff and the other one likes to play games. So, made plenty of sense. These Kindles are sold on this whole, you get like, all the apps are like unlocked. So you get all of the benefits of, you don't have to pay anything for these apps and stuff. And as far as like watching stuff's concerned, they can watch stuff on Prime or Netflix, whatever. My two younger daughters, they sit and watch stuff together in bed, and my eldest likes to play the games. And that's that. And they were like, "Oh, you get 2 years of this." I've been through all this before. So after a year of getting the second one, and the 2 years seemed to evaporate, they then wanted to charge an absolute fortune to keep this going on a monthly basis. Then there was the thing about I didn't pay for both of them at one point, and somehow they managed to wipe what was on the one I didn't pay for. That was amazing, that one. That one still gets me. So then, the next part of the saga is this. Again, I'm like, I don't want to pay for this. They contacted me at one point. They're like, "You're a loyal customer, so we're going to charge you less for this service." I was like, I don't want you to charge me at all for this service. So, the new one is, they're like, "Oh, you haven't paid the subscription." I was like, damn right I haven't paid the subscription. You can whistle. They're like, and I was like, "Oh, balls, it's the summer holidays. This is the worst possible time to do this. Fine, I'll pay the subscription on one of them. And the other one can use my Kindle, which is an adult's Kindle, which will let you watch stuff for free on Prime. Job done." I went to pay for one of them, and oh no, it's all changed again. So now, there's no option to pay for 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. You just pay. So I was like, okay. And the price has gone back up. Forgot to mention that one, didn't you, Amazon? Right. This is ridiculous. What's also ridiculous is I can buy an adult's Kindle and just give them that. Here, you want to watch stuff that's on Prime that we get for free, so do it on this one, because it's free. But then I had this stark realisation. If I did that, then I'm going to be left with 2 children's Kindles that are then just expensive paperweights. Because there's literally nothing I'll be able to do with them. Because as I mentioned before, the moment I stop paying, Amazon are going to wipe them. No, oh, use the free version. No, oh, you don't get the fully unlocked app, but you can still do whatever. No, that's not it. So it's like some kind of jacking. It's like you either pay for this or you've just got these dead items. It is absolute insanity. And when it was Prime Day, you could have got a Kindle for £35. So now I'm like, oh, I'll just buy some Kindles and then they can do whatever. Yeah, they won't have the apps unlocked, but they'll still be able to watch stuff on Prime for free. And they'll have apps. They'll just be like the non-paid for versions. But it still doesn't change the fact that then I'm going to have these 2 dead weights. Like, well, what do I do with it now? So I've started looking into the scheme where you basically sell back your device. I was like, oh, I can get a tenner for it, can I? Cool. That's not how much I paid for it. Here's something a little bit more light-hearted that'll make you laugh, maybe. We had all this building work going on. We're into week whatever of a 3-week job. Guess what? It's not week 3, let's put it that way. So the guys came to do the plumbing. So I'm sitting in the dining room, and they're doing the work, and I can hear them all talking. I think I was sat eating my breakfast at the time, and I was like, what are they talking about today? What's today's whatever going to be? And I heard a voice at one point pipe up, and this voice said, "Hey, I'll tell you something, lads. I forgot it was my anniversary yesterday, and I forgot." So I'm sat, and I'm listening to this, and I'm like, all right. They're like, yeah, 11 years. I was like, amateur, 11 years. Pfft. It's like going on about how I forgot his anniversary and all this, that, and the other. I was like, what kind of a person does that? What kind of a person forgets that it's their anniversary? You know, it's an important point in time. It's an important milestone. 11 years isn't nothing. You know, it is in my world, but in other people's worlds, 11 years isn't nothing. It's nothing to sniff at. I was like, you've crossed that 10-year mark, 11 years, maybe. Some of the magic's gone, maybe. I don't know. I mean, hang on a minute. Isn't my anniversary in July? Right. That seems strange. I'm sure I would have remembered. I looked at the calendar. I looked at what day it was. I looked at what day my anniversary was, and I was like, thank you, Mr. Plumber, for forgetting your anniversary and reminding me that, I think at that point in time I was like, I've got 3 days to get the lead out. It was very much a situation turned on its head where I'm like, what kind of a person does that? I think I answered my own question on that one. I'm out walking the dog. A few days ago, I was out walking the dog. And me and the dog have got all these different people that we have to stop and talk to. The dog's an attention whore. He really is. And if you bump into us in the street and you do not say hello to that dog, whew, we're all in trouble. All of us. I have a frog, in case you couldn't guess. So we talk to all these people. We see different people at different times. We talk to people. I was late picking up my daughter I say later than I normally pick her up the other day, because I got talking to too many people while I was walking the dog. It's that kind of system. Well, I went past the house and a woman stopped me. And she said, "Can I ask, are you a police officer?" That silence there was to denote the point in time that my brain had to do a Control-Alt-Delete. Now, lucky for everybody involved in this scenario, that wasn't the end of her sentence, because it was a question. It was a double question, because she said to me, "Are you a police officer? And are you training him to be a police dog?" Now, from the complete and utter insult of the situation, I am more than a little surprised that I could actually get words out. Because, like I say, I had to Control-Alt-Delete my brain. I was like, And all I wanted to say was something. In my world, it would be considered funny, but I don't think I'm necessarily considered funny in everybody else's world. I'm like, what the fuck did you just say to me? Now, as it was, like I say, nothing short of a modern day miracle. I actually managed to get words out within like a second or two, which to this point in time I'm still amazed. And I was like, no, I'm not. And then a 10-minute conversation ensued where she informed me that she sees me every day out walking the dog, and she was absolutely convinced that I was a police officer and I was training the dog to be a police dog because, and this was the bit that really got me, because he's so well behaved. I was like, are you actually insane? He's a lunatic. So I said half of that sentence. She went on to inform me that she sees a lot of dogs go past and he's the best trained of the lot of them. And does he go to training classes or is it just me that trains him? I was like, he had like a bit of training, but it didn't go well, and it's just me. Oh, you're doing a fantastic job. I'm like, is this a parallel universe where the nutcase that I had on the end of the lead and me, who had just been asked if I was a police officer, anywho, that was an experience. But we made a new friend. Strangers are just friends you haven't met yet. Apart from the ones that have those, vans that they tell you not to get into. That's kind of it for the week. It's been one of those, I was like, oh, I'll talk about this. Oh, I'll talk about that. But I kind of was in a bit of a... it's the summer holidays. So it's going to be a lot of me telling you what I've been doing with the children. So I thought I'd skip all that. We'll move on to talk a bit of entertainment. Entertainment this week is a bit of a weird one. Heavy on some things, light on others. If you refer back to earlier in the podcast, I was saying about being in a little bit of a strange kind of funk with certain things. I watched episode 6, 7, and 8 of The Terminal List. I'd kind of put a couple of episodes of things on pause or break, or I was just taking a break from a couple of things. One was The Terminal List and the other was The Boys. So I finished The Terminal List. There was what I would have called the Rambo 1 episode, the kind of out in the woods trying to survive kind of thing. There was another episode, and then there was the last episode. I really enjoyed it I really did enjoy it as a series. The first couple of episodes, I didn't think that was going to be the case, but it got a lot better after. And I'm not saying the first couple of episodes were bad. I just needed some clarity to be able to follow it. And you got that clarity going past episode 2. The other thing that I was going to struggle with was Chris Pratt in any role outside of Star-Lord, but I think he did okay in the end. I think he was all right in it. Now then, anybody who's been listening for the last couple of weeks, you might have to close your ears on this one. Anybody that hasn't been listening for the last couple of weeks, but is interested in The Terminal List, you also might want to close your ears, because I just want to get something out on record. In the first episode, an actor turned up, And I went, well, he's the bad guy then, isn't he? Because in my experience, this particular person is cast in two roles. The bad guy, sometimes the secret bad guy, but the bad guy, or the good guy. Now, as we knew, Chris Pratt was the lead. That unfortunately left one option for me. And I was like, he's going to be the bad guy. And I got all the way through to the end of the 8th episode and went, something doesn't feel right. Something doesn't sit right here. Why is he not the bad guy? Surely he was the bad guy. And they tied it up and they put a nice, pretty bow on it. And then, right at the end, they went, oh, guess what? He was the bad guy. This is possibly spoiler territory. And I went, well, yeah, I knew that from the very first episode. Maybe not casting somebody who is either the bad guy or the lead. Might have been a way around that. But I felt like I spent 8 episodes going, when are you going to reveal that he's the bad guy? That's potentially me and the way I watch stuff. I've been criticised for just trying to find the twist for the entire time of watching something before. As I said, I watched episodes 6, 7, 8 of The Terminal List, and I followed that up with watching episodes 6, 7, and 8 of The Boys, Series 3. Episode 6 has had this whole thing around it. People are saying it's the best episode of television there has ever been. And I'm here to tell you people that it's not. There was nothing overly special about that episode. It was just another episode of The Boys. I really couldn't understand it. If I'm honest, that was the reason that I'd stopped watching Series 3 of The Boys. Because like everything in life, there was absolutely no way that episode was going to live up to the hype. And it was the next episode I had to watch. So that was kind of the situation for me. As it was, I knuckled down and I watched the last 3 episodes. No real surprises here. It was great. It was fantastic. It was wonderful. Got to learn a little bit more about certain characters. See behind the curtain a little bit. It was very good. It was very good. I'm pleased there's going to be more. I'm pleased that it's going on. I'm pleased that we have access to this sort of television in this day and age. I thought Jensen Ackles did very well to transfer from Supernatural to a different show and a different type of show and a different type of character. I thought he did very well in it. It was just a good, solid series of a good, solid show. I look forward to seeing more of it. I watched some movies. Some I've seen before, but I'm still going to tell you about them. I watched The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. I used to, and I say used to because I haven't seen it in a good few years, but I used to really enjoy this film. It was kind of one of those go-to movies that you could put on and just sit and watch pretty much any time. Watching it again recently, it's things like, it was very much a case of what the hell happened to this cast? Some of them survived and moved on. Obviously, Sean Connery's no longer with us. But yes, very much. Some of them, it's like, whatever happened to you? It was an enjoyable trip down memory lane. Let's go with that. I watched a new film. Yes, I do that. I watched The Grey Man. Netflix's latest outing. Ryan Gosling, Chris Evans. Anna de Armas, I think, is the lady that was in it. Or one of the ladies was in it. I need to get this out in front. I need to start it with this. When Chris Evans is not playing Captain America and he grows that mustache, I don't think there are many things in the world I hate less than that fucking mustache. I can't stand it. So, just want to get that out of the front of this. It was a good film. It was enjoyable. There was a point in it where I was like, my God, somebody literally read the textbook for how to make an action movie and followed it step by step. Right up until the point that one of the Russo brothers popped up and I went, hang on a minute. I seem to remember there being something about this being a Russo brothers movie. And when the credits rolled at the end, it in fact was a Russo brothers movie. Which, on one hand, I was like, oh, well, that's kind of why it's a textbook action movie. And on another hand, I was like, but should it be? Are they not more talented than that? In some ways. I won't go into that anyway. Very good, very enjoyable, very, a lot of fun. Oh, Billy Bob Thornton's in it. Weirdly. It was a bit weird, that one. I will say this, and this seems to be a common theme in some, I don't know how you class Netflix films, because I was going to say big budget, but I have no idea what sort of budget they talk about with these sorts of films. The editing was weird. It's something that I notice more and more as the years go on, and it's something I feel stands out a lot more when a film's been like weirdly edited. Like, when you're watching a film and it cuts away from something that's happening, and it'll cut to like somebody standing outside a doorway, and then somebody walks up to them and goes, yeah, this thing's happening. And then it cuts away to something else, and you're like, you could have quite easily not had that shot in the middle. It was unnecessary. I think stuff like that stands out a lot more now. It was very good. It was very enjoyable. Definitely a good Saturday night movie. Definitely worth a watch. If you like a good action movie, give it a go. There was a point in time when Netflix movies were very hit and miss. And I stick to that rule. I work on the principle that just because the trailer looks good doesn't mean the film's going to be good, because they've had some absolute stinkers. That friggin' Six Underground was... and others. But then on the flip side, they've had that Chris Hemsworth one. Was it Extraction or something? That was fantastic. So, you always got to brace yourself for a Netflix movie. That one that the Rock and Ryan Reynolds, Gal Gadot was in. Gal Gadot. What the hell was that called? Red Notice. That was absolute frigging garbage. This was probably on the plus side of the Netflix movie genre. Couple of films that I have seen before. However, one of them, there's a reason that I saw it again. This one, however, this was just something to put on. I put The Gentleman on again, and somebody once said to me, and I've mentioned this before, somebody once said to me, why do you watch something again? Especially something that you didn't like. Now, I'm not saying that I didn't like The Gentleman. What I am saying is, I feel like when I reviewed it, I might have reviewed it a little harsher than I'm about to. I watched The Gentleman the other night, and I really enjoyed it. I was like, this film's great. I love this film. Why did I feel like it wasn't maybe as good as this when I watched it the first time? I might have played it down a bit. I don't know. I might have to go back and look into what I said originally. But But anyway, it was a very enjoyable watch. It was a very enjoyable time. I had a good time watching that film. There we go. However, there was a very noticeable thing in that film. I noticed it the first time I watched it. I noticed it this time. And it's really, really annoying. There is a bit in it. This is not a spoiler. This is just pointing something out. There's a bit in it where Charlie Hunnam is running after somebody. And he's running after them full pelt, trying to catch them. And they keep showing him running. And then when the chase comes to a conclusion and he comes around the corner, you can clearly see that he's got a machine gun under his coat. And all I ever think is, where was the machine gun when you were chasing him up till this point? Did it suddenly materialise as you came around the corner? Because it's so noticeable that you would have noticed it through the entire chase if you'd have been carrying said machine gun. And for me, and the way I am with movies, that's annoying to me. Anywho. Took my eldest back to the cinema last night, yesterday afternoon, sort of time. We went for one reason and one reason only, and that's right, ladies and gentlemen. We went to see for the second time at the cinema Top Gun Maverick. Now then, I wanted to see it in IMAX, and I wanted to see it so that we could sit further back this time. Not an option. It has gone off the IMAX. It is no longer being shown at the IMAX. And I keep checking on it. I keep looking just to see. And then all of a sudden, it pops up on this new thing. This Screen X. For those of you that don't know, Screen X is 270 degrees worth of viewing. Because it's a normal cinema screen. And then they use the walls, left and right, to add the movie to. And I was like, I've heard not great reviews about it, but I feel for a film like this, it could be quite immersive. So let's do it. We agreed. We had sort this, that, and the other, but we managed to make it work. And away we went. And we got there and we sat down. And the movie started, and I went, what? Because for a newfangled toy and a newfangled way of viewing the cinema experience, why would you not spend the time to make sure the picture lines up? Because that, to me, seems really freaking dumb. And that seems to me like it's really, really noticeable through the entire film. Also, why would you have your emergency exit sign so far up the wall of one of the walls that you're using to project the movie onto? Because that's not annoying either. It was not a good experience in a lot of ways. In a lot of ways it was quite immersive, it was quite good, and in more ways it was not. They couldn't even line the freaking picture up. Honestly, you know that saying, you had one job? Yeah, somebody had one job and they couldn't even get that right. Honestly, it was super distracting. However, we went to see Maverick, Top Gun Maverick again. That film is phenomenal. Something happened that I knew was going to happen. Watching it again, I've already slipped into the I don't care about the people side of things. Just show me the planes. So watching the people, it was like, oh, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. Just put the planes back on the screen. There is a shot in that film where planes are flying in formation and they're coming around a corner and they hit the sort of the slipstream where you can physically see the air going over the planes, and it is the most amazing thing. you will ever have the opportunity to see on a cinema screen. It is immense. We watched it again. We both enjoyed it again. I don't think my eldest notices things like, oh, the screen doesn't line up. It was also a little bit quiet. And what I mean by that was I could hear it. And it wasn't like I couldn't. But I wanted a bit more. I wanted them to turn it up a little bit. I wanted to feel it in an immersive experience. Honestly, not going to be rushing back to Screen X. I really, really did want to see it in IMAX again. But I guess it's not meant to be. For now, I imagine it's going to go back to IMAX at some point. One thing I will say is that film has been out for a while now. The cinema wasn't full, but it was certainly busy. There was a lot of people there. That film is still a big draw. Honestly, get rid of your freaking Jurassic Park. Get rid of your Thor Love and Thunder, which has not had great reviews. Just run that film on the IMAX 24/7 and you'll make your money. Like I was saying before, a little bit funky on the games front. It's hard to explain. If anybody's a gamer, they might understand that every now and then you just get into a bit of a, I don't want to play games, but I do want to play games. It's very much, I don't know what I want to play sort of situation. I did download a game, and I did start playing it, and I hate myself for it. I've been playing... I've been playing Power Wash Simulator. And when I said that to somebody the other day, their response was, What is it? You simulate using a power washer? And I went, yes, it's exactly what it says on the tin. And I play it and I lose entire evenings of my life to it, and I hate myself for every minute that I'm doing it. Weirdly, it feels like what I kind of need at the moment. It does feel like I very much focus myself when I'm doing it. I'm focused on it. But yeah, there is that part of me that hates myself for it. That's it. A little bit of a short one this week. Like I say, I didn't want to bore you with what I've been doing, summer holiday stuff. So we'll call it there. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you next time. So there we go. What do you think to that? Another one done, another week gone, another podcast gone, something's gone somewhere. Thank you for listening along. Before you go, if I can just bother you for one more minute, please do consider like, share, subscribe and comment. Drop any reviews you might want to. And you can also check us out on our website, thecookiecast.com. There we've got social media links and an email button. So there's multiple ways that you can get in touch with us. That's it for this one. Until next time, I'm going to say bye. I'll see you then.